Welcome guys, welcome to this video. In this video we're going to create an API. So basically we will have an application, a blog application, and I have it here right now. So we have here the home page, contact page. Contact page just has some content, nothing special, but we have the posts coming from the API endpoint. So you have the posts coming each time with pagination, so you can set it up. You can have your own endpoint where you will have the posts coming. So you can see here limit 10, we have the posts offset set up here. So we simply when hit it, we get the posts accordingly. So we're getting from ID 31 to ID 40. So that's how it is working here. We have the theme set up as well. It goes a single. We also have implemented the search on this one, so we can search for any of the topics and we can go to that topic straight away. So that's what we're gonna do. So we will create structure wise this code going to have an API folder and then have a front end. Our front end going to be completely React, and an API will be the backend, and we will have the API set up. So we will completely create the bit of not exactly but not a bit of Laravel style routes. So we will have controller and then the route which function will be handling. So we will handle it all by customizing. So we will put some functionality to check what is the URL, if URL matches our parameters, so where we want to load and which function we want to run. So a lot of things we're gonna do in this video, so let's get started. Alright guys, so to start with, first of all we need the database. So I'm going to create a database here. I'm gonna call it react_php. I have the localhost PHP myadmin running. To have it running, you need a XAMPP installed in your system, and I hope you have it installed. You can follow the links from the description for the installing the XAMPP. Now, once we have this database, so we will have the data here imported. So what I'm going to do now, first of all, we need our project setup as well. So as I installed XAMPP, XAMPP gives us the directory in applications, htdocs. So here we can create our project. So here I'm going to call it React PHP. All right. And inside it, we want our front end and back end code completely separate. So it's going to have, for the front end, they're going to be front end, and for the back end, we are going to call it API. You can call it back end, or you can call anything you like, but I'm going to call it API. All right. So here, now in the API, first of all, what I'm going to do, I'm going to open the Visual Studio. So I have the Visual Studio open here. What I'm going to do, gonna go here and I'm going to open this in our Visual Studio. We can close this now. Now in Visual Studio, what I'm going to do in the main of this directory, we can basically, let me trust this and close this. Alright, here we can create a file called index.php. We don't need it, but just to check a few things, we'll be using it. So here, let's say echo hello. Alright, and yeah, simply that's all it does. So if I go now to localhost and /react, and we have the PHP, so it's PHP. So you see that hello there, but we have our front end coming from here. It's not going to be from this file, so we'll do it that way. So okay, so let's do this. Inside API, I'm gonna create directories. So first directory I'm gonna create is the controllers. So any controller we create goes inside this directory. Then again, another directory I need to create is the services. So here I create the services. Now in services, first of all, we want to connect with the database. So let's create a class. So here I'm going to say db.php. This is the file which is going to be dealing with the database. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to start PHP, and it goes like this. Then we want to say here namespace. Namespace basically tells if you have the a file with the same name, multiple files. So namespaces comes in uses. I believe you understand that. So here I simply say services. Okay. Now here we want to say the class. And class is going to be the name of the file. So it's going to be db. Alright. And in this class we want to have few variables. So I'm going to say, well, for now I'm going to pass everything public. Okay, so it's public, and $db underscore host, it is going to be equal to localhost, and then I'm gonna copy this and paste it 4 times. Then we have a db user, which is going to be root, and then password, and this is going to be empty for now. And at last we have the database name, so it's going to be db database. Alright, so it's going to be, we created the database here, react underscore php, so we're going to call it here. So it's react underscore php. Alright, so I have autosave enabled, so that's why it's saving them all whenever I'm typing. You can save it, or you can enable the autosave. Alright, so here we need a function that will connect us to the database. So it's going to be public function database. Or you can call it connect or whatever you like. Alright, inside it, you want to create a connection. So I say here, new MySQLi. And here we want to pass $this. First thing we want to pass is the host, so db underscore host. Then we want to pass is the db underscore user. And I forgot this, so because we are referring to the variable from the class, so we need to use this $this. Then we have the password, so it's going to be $this and db underscore password. And then we need the $this database. So it's db underscore database. Alright, spelling should be correct, so be careful about that. I'm going to call it connection. We need to use the MySQL, so use MySQLi. Alright, so now what do we want to do? We want to check this connection is working or not. So here I have to put here checking connection, and on top we can say making connection. Alright, so good coding practice is always important. So if you pass the commands, it's easy for others to understand. So here I say $con, and here I say connect underscore error. So if there are going to be any kind of error, what do we want to do? We want to say die. Alright, it will kill the statement. We can say here connection and spelling connection failed. And if you want to show the exact message what exactly happened, you can say $con. And this comes from MySQL, so connect underscore error. Alright, and that's it, semicolon. And here after that we can say return $con. So this statement will execute only if the connection is successful. I created this index.php just to test a few things before working with the main app. So here what we can do, we can call this db class and we can test if our connection is working or not. So let's do that. So here I simply say require. And this is how you require. Basically now we are here, so we're requiring API services and db. So we can say here API / services / db.php. So alright, so once you do this, you have the access to this class, so you can instantiate this class. So here what I'm going to do, I'm going to say new db. All right, and this is a connection. So now, if the connection fails, happens this. Otherwise, we get this. So here, what we're gonna do, we're gonna say var underscore dump. So we see exactly what we are getting there. All right, and if you wanna kill the statement afterwards, you can put exit here. Okay, so go back here, and refresh, and page isn't working. Okay, so I killed the statement on top instead, then I put it here. Okay, and go back to the browser and refresh, and it works. That means we have some issues here. So here, when you face something like this, right, so we are getting some issue here. So what do I do in PHP when we want to see the errors? We can use these two statements. Okay, it's gonna help. Let's see if any of these. So basically, if the error reporting is off, it is gonna display done the error reporting on. So you can see now we have the class DB not found. So we included it. Why it is not found? Because we mentioned the namespace there, so we need to mention it here as well. So here, use services and then DB. Now when you do this and you go here and refresh, you get the object. You get DB host, localhost, username root. You can see that we are getting our object. That means that we are successfully connecting to the database. So yeah, we can work with this now. All right, great. So we have it. So you can enable error reporting whenever you like. This helps. If you recommend this, it's gonna make it not gonna display the errors. All right, so first thing first, we have our database connection working, and that's good. Now another thing we want is we want to create an API. So basically for our React app, when we go to some kind of route, because we will be using the endpoints to get the database, and for each endpoint we want some kind of functionality. So for example, if a user comes here in our app and goes to API slash something, we want to handle it because it's an API call to our application, and that's going to be done using a file called .htaccess. So what we're gonna do, so here where we have controller and services, in the same directory I'm going to create a file called .htaccess. Now what this file will do, this file will tell that if a person is navigating to the API, in our URL we have API, or in our API call in endpoint API, so go through a single file, and that file will handle everything. Okay, so let's do this. So what do we need to do? We want to say here some syntax of the .htaccess. For more information, you can check the link in the description. I'm gonna put some code here to save our time. So we need to start this option for symlinks multi-view. Then we want to say rewrite engine on. So it's gonna be rewrite engine and then on. Okay, so basically it is saying the rewrite what rules we are going to pass here. Then we want to say some rules. So rewrite and here we say base. So what is going to be the base URL? So it's going to be API. All right, and then we say we have conditions. So check for the file name. So I'm gonna put it here like this, and after that we want to say is a rule. So it's gonna be simply rewrite rule. So rewrite rule, and what it says is dot all whatever comes after API, whatever comes, just send it to the routing.php. So we're going to create this file, and here we can pass it SA. This is the syntax from the htaccess file, so you need to check there. And there is a video as well, so you can check that too. I leave the link in the description. So basically, if the URL or endpoint has API in it, our application will go to this file first, and this file will check what route we are going to, and it is going to pass to a particular function which is going to be responsible for that particular endpoint. If it's getting complicated, it will be easy once we will be doing it. Okay, so we have it here. Great. So we have DB, we have htaccess. Now it's time to work with the endpoints. So let's see, if I go to, we don't have the routing currently, so let's create it. So for the routing, we need to create in the same directory where we have the htaccess. So here, I create here routing.php. You can call it anything, like in the verb Laravel, we have web.php, so something like that you can call it. It's totally up to you what you want to call it. I start PHP here, and I want to start here. Currently, first thing first, I'm going to do the connection. So I'm going to get the header displaying as well, so in case we need it. So I just put the command now. We need a database, so I'm going to copy the, because anything we do, we will be using the database. So yeah. Now we need to get the URL from the user. So for that, what we do, we say here, simply I'm gonna say getting current URL, and how are we gonna get it? So I'm gonna say current link. All right, and I'm gonna call that to $_server, and then here I'm gonna pause. This is how you get it in the PHP request _URI. All right. Now here we can see it. So here I simply say var _dump or print or whatever you prefer. So here I say $current link. All right, and I kill the statement, exit, and I go here and refresh. It won't do anything because we don't have API there. So API / something. Alright guys, so we have this error now. There are two things. I mentioned the base URL as API in htaccess, so we need to change it a bit differently. We need to say here our base URL is React PHP and then API. So we need to make sure we do that. So it's gonna be like this. So if your application has something different, you can do it that way. Alright, and now if I go to routing.php, we are saying API services DB. So if I see routing is here and then services is here, so we don't need to go to API. We are already inside API. So here we remove it. So it should be fine now. So if I go and refresh here, so you can see now we have the React API something. So it's printing here. So if I say any number here, we get there. Now if I change it to something else, then we get object not found. So you get the idea. We are basically catching everything whatever is coming in React API. So we're gonna catch, we're gonna pass it to this file, and this file is gonna tell us what we need to do, basically where and how we're gonna handle. All right, now it's step 2 time. Basically what we want to do, we want to have some so what I'm going to do here, basically after API, it's going to say posts. So when we navigate to this endpoint, our React app should get the posts, all the list of posts. So what I'm going to do, I want to create here an array. So I simply call this array as routes, and I call it $URLs. All right, I'm gonna call it like this, and then in this array I'm gonna say, so I'm going here, and here I'm gonna pass /API /posts, and if you remember, we need to pass React PHP as well, so don't forget that. So I'm just gonna copy from here. Okay, so if this is the part of our endpoint where the React is calling, we want to use controller and a function. So I'm gonna say here posts and controller, and then I'm gonna say get posts from database. All right, so it's kind of Laravel style. So we are just mentioning this is the URL, and then we have this controller, and this is the function we want to use. Now, obviously, we do not have the posts controller with us, so let's create it. So we go to controllers. Here we say posts controller.php. All right, now here in routing, we need to include it. So I put the DB on top because every single controller will require in database, and after that we can use our controllers. So here I simply say require, or you can put it in bracket as well, like this. So now I'm in routing, so we can go straight in controller. So it's a controller. All right, and then inside controllers, posts controller. All right, so we have the controller called, we have the function there, and we need to create this function. Now what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna get the post data. So basically I'm gonna go here in database, and here I'm gonna create a table named posts, and we're gonna insert some dummy posts here. Let's add a few fields here first of all. So I'm gonna call the first here ID, and it's going to be integer. Auto increment will be enabled. It's a primary as well. Then second going to be user underscore ID, and I'll leave it as integer as well. Then they're going to be title. I want a content as well. All right, so we need to add one more. So after that content, we want an image. So that we have an image here. I say varchar 255. All right, for content you can say long text, and for title varchar will be fine, I think 255. Okay, so if I save it, we have it. So we have these fields now. So we are going to fetch it from the third party API, and we're gonna have some dummy posts so that we can work with. All right, and we're gonna do it using PHP. So let's do it. So go to the controller. Currently we don't have anything here. So first of all, PHP. Then we want to say here the namespace, just the way we did before for the service namespace. And here we want to call it API and controller. All right, and then we want to say class, and the class going to be the posts controller file name. All right, and class name starts with capital letter. So here I'm going to call public and $connection, and I'm going to set it to null by default. Now you can set it private as well, that's up to you. I'm going to set it public for now. Then I'm going to set a constructor, public function, and underscore construct. All right, and this constructor, what it do, it is going to set the connection. So let's say here create a connection. So we call the $con, so $this con, and when this class instantiate, we are setting it to new DB. So if you remember our database, and in database we have method this, and that is a returning connection. So we are going to pass that here. So we're going to say database. Whatever it returns goes here. So if you remember, that's the name of our function. All right, so our connection will be set when the class is instantiated. Now let's get the posts. Okay, so here public function get posts. All right, I want to add comments to it for the good practice. here we want to say getting posts from third-party API. All right, in here you can put a try and catch statement. So why not? So we put it here, catch exception $e, and here we can simply display it or dump. It's gonna have get message, and it's gonna display it and exit. All right, looks good so far. Or you can put it inside die if you want to. Now we need to get the post, so we need to use the curl here. For the API, we're gonna use the JSON placeholder. So it's a JSON placeholder. If you go to that site, it's a fake REST API. We can get the data here. So simply you can look for posts or albums, photos. So you get the data. You can see that we have data coming up here, so you can see. All right, so what do? We want to use the curl in PHP to get the posts. So here I say getting data, and we start with URL. So URL we want to pass is yeah, I'm thinking this is fine. So I'm gonna get the posts, and I'm gonna put here the posts. Okay, so URL going to be these in posts. Okay, now here we say $ch equals curl underscore in it, and I separate it a bit. Now there are a few things we want. I'm gonna copy and paste some code here. So I'm gonna paste it right here. Alright, so we have here saying auto-refer true, headers no. We have timeout 30, it's a get. And here we are saying content type going to be the JSON. So, alright, we are defining all these things. And once we have it, now this is going to be post, right? So we need images as well. So I'm gonna call twice. So here, this one is going to get data from here. Alright, and then we need photos as well. So if I go to photos, we have this data showing up here. So we can have the thumbnail, you can see here. So these are the images. So for our posts, we need images as well. So we will call this as well. So for that, here we are getting data. And here I say getting images. Alright, so we're gonna get the data. I'm gonna copy the URL, paste here, gonna go back there. This time it is gonna be photos, so that we get the photos. So paste it here. Alright, now rest. Again, I'm gonna paste some code. This time the variable name will change, so we are doing this $ch here. Here we need to change it to ch image because we are dealing with image. So here ch image. Rest all stays the same. Now what we can do, we can first of all, I'm gonna receive the data. So this variable we're gonna use it. So here I'm gonna say $response response data is equal to, and we want to say here JSON underscore decode because we are getting data in JSON. Okay, so here we say curl exec, so it's execute basically, and this curl gonna execute this variable for images and this variable for data. Now here we are dealing with the response data, so I'm gonna pass here $ch. Alright, and here in the JSON decode we need to pass second parameter as true, so it convert it to an array. Same way, I'm gonna copy this, paste here, This time it's gonna be images. So here, images. Now the variable name we need to change here. Rest all stays the same. All right. So response data, response images. Now I want to combine these so that we can have a combined data. So because if I say now, let's see what we have. So if I go, we can put here pre, so we can see it properly. Then we say var dump. All right. Here I put response data, and I say exit. Okay. Now, how we can call this class? If you remember, we use the index file initially to check the database. The same file we will use now. So we go to index here. Instead of services DB, actually we need that too. So here we say, now we need to call the controller n. So we do that. So I simply copy this. API controllers, and then posts controller. All right, now we need to call the namespace API controllers like that. So it's gonna be controllers post controller. Okay. All right. Now let's see what happens. So what we want to do is we want to call get posts from this. So I go here. We say, hey, we don't need this because database is already going to be instantiated here in the class. We don't need to call it separately. But here for this, we're gonna say new posts controller, and we say get, what was that? Get posts. Okay, so we call this function, so get posts. And when we run this function, it is going to var dump automatically, so we don't need to say echo or anything here. So let's see. So go back here, refresh. And we have error, so check it out. Okay, API controller DB not found. All right, so we are getting this error because when we go to the post controller, we are using DB, but we didn't say on top that use DB. So we need to say our use, and we say services, because it is inside services, and then DB. Now it will get the access to DB and it should be fine. So if we go back now and refresh, now you see that we have the data. So we are getting user ID, title, body, but we are not getting the images, right? So if I go back to the function, so we are saying response data. The same way we pass now response images here. So pass this, and we do this, and you can see now we have here title, URL, thumbnail, but we don't have content, so we need to combine these two arrays. And once we have it combined, we will have the mixed data. So okay, what we can do here is basically we have ID set, right? ID in here. And if I go to the photos, we have ID here. And if I go to posts, we have ID here. So if the ID is the same, we can combine the data. So let's do that. Okay, so here, I'm gonna remove this code. So here I say combining data. And here we wanna say for each. And we want to look through the response data first. So response data is res data, And then inside it, if we're gonna check the ID if it is present. So we want to say if is set $response images, and we want to say if there is a ID, because each response data has an ID, right? So if we go here, you can see that we have ID. So we are passing that ID. We are saying, okay, if it is going to be 1, 2, 3, 4, or 5, so we are passing here. We are saying if it is going to be 1, then we want to combine the data. So what we can do, how we can combine, we simply say $res data, and we pass here image, or whatever you want to call your image, and you simply say whatever is the data inside it. So what I did, how we get the data. So if we go to the we are saying 1, so if we go back, we go to photos. If the ID is 1, we have the URL, so we can get the image. So that's what we want to catch. So here, I'm going to copy this $images. Then I want to pass this inside it. So whatever is the ID, it's 1, 2, 3, whatever. And then we want to get the URL. And it should get us the URL. And once you have it's inside it, we can have it working. So what I do, I create an empty array, and that empty array will have all the data. So new array, and here I simply say that new array will have the new data. So each time add image and put it inside new array. So it's going to be $res data, like that. Okay, now we can see what data we are getting. Alright, so copy this. We go here, again var down, exit. To see it better, go pre. Okay, now let's go back here, refresh. Now you see here user ID, image, body, and at last we have the image at last. So image is coming at last. So for each of the posts we have image now. So that's great. All right. So that's what we wanted. Now what I want to do, I want to put this data inside the database. So we have our posts here. So these should go inside it. I create another function. I'm gonna pass this new array in it. So basically we say $this, and we call this function. So I'm gonna say here, save posts to database. All right, and here we can pass this new array in it. Okay, brilliant. We don't have this function, so we need to create it. So if we see our function is ending here, so we can create a function here. So public function. All right, and here we can say $posts. By default it is null, but we need it to save it anyway. So it is gonna save. So I'm gonna put a comment as well. Save posts in database from API. All right, now here what we want to do. Now here we want to first of all check the connection. All right, and after that we want to actually we can straight away pass it, because we are getting this once we are here. We call this function here. We can passing a new array, which is the post with images. So here I can simply say check connection. Okay, and here we say so basically we will have it here, and then this function, if we go there, we already checking the connection. I think, yeah, we are doing it here, so we don't need to do it here. So what we do, we simply insert the data. So insert data in database. Okay, database. So here we run the query simply. So I simply say for each, it's going to be $posts as we are receiving $posts, and then as $post for each post. Now inside it, we're going to do is say $SQL, and I run a query. So it's going to be insert into, and if you remember, our database table is posts. So we say insert into posts. And what do we want to insert? We want to insert few fields. So we have here, scroll down, we have user ID, title, content, image. So that's what we need. So we get here user underscore ID. Then we have title. Then we have content. And last but not least, we have image. All right. So this is the data we want to insert. Values. And it should be inside the demo code. So like this. Now when you pass values, it's again in brackets. So here I say we want to pass it through this variable. So each time we have here, first let's see what we're getting. So if I comment this out, yep, see here our dump $post. All right, go back here, refresh. Okay, you can see here we are getting the user ID, we are getting ID, we are getting title straight away, we are getting body, and that's how we get it. So we need to pass the same way. Okay, so what I do is remove it and pass the values here. So we want to say, to pass the variable, we say $post, and inside $post we want first is going to be the user ID. So it's a camel case, user ID. So it's gonna be image. All right. And then we need to close the bracket. So pass the bracket like this, close it, and then semicolon. All right, so we have our values there. Now here we can check simply if MySQL underscore query, we say $this connection, and then $SQL we are passing here. I'm not doing any prepare statement for security or other stuff. We are just basically seeing how things work here. So else, now here we can give some kind of new record created successfully, and here we can show the error. So it's gonna be the, let's call it error. And what is the error? We say $SQL dot to concatenate again. I'll put a break here, and then dot MySQL error $this connection. All right, and it should work. So now you can see what is happening. We're getting it from the API we're storing inside database, and then later we will use this content in our React app. So here, once everything is done, we want to clear the MySQL, close the connection, So dollar this is connection. All right, let's try it. So let's see if we are getting the data. So what do? I refresh the page. We get new record created. You can see that here. But if we go to database, beautiful. We have the 100 records created here. You can see that we have the title, content, we have image URL, we have user ID, and we have different user IDs coming here. So yeah, we just created the data. So if you want to run it every time, you can run it, yeah, because we called it this way. So otherwise, we can work with this. We already have the data coming in database. We can use this database in our front end now. Guys, so we have posts in the database. So this is the time we create the React app. So if you search on the Create React app on Google, you will come to this React.js link. Click on there. You will see that there is a command to create the React app. So if I go here in our application, we already created the front end, right? So we need to get inside it and build our app there. So what I do, I open the terminal and I go to the cd application and XAMPP. So if I go here, I'm inside there, then the cd docs. So if you remember, we have our application here. Then we have the React PHP. So the React PHP ls. You can see we have here API, frontend, and index PHP, the files we have. So we need to go inside frontend. So cd front end, and here I put the I haven't copied the command, so I copy the command and paste here. Instead of my app, I'm gonna put dot. That means put all the code inside current directory. So I hit return here, and it is going to create the React app for us. So we need to wait till it completes it. So you can see that creating a new React app in, and it is telling you it's in the front end. And there we need it, so it's perfect. So if I go here, and if we see here, we have package.json. We need to wait till it completes. Alright guys, so with it installed, now we can go inside this directory and then run npm start. So actually we are already inside frontend. So let's go back here. What we have, so we can see that frontend we have node, public, source, and package.json inside this folder. And so here what we can do, we can simply run that command. So I say npm start there. Now for the database, you need your XAMPP running. For the front end, we will do it through npm, so be careful about that. So here, so it opens in port 3000. So our application is up. So this is the React application by default, what you get. But we want to work with the posts. So here, I'm gonna search for one more thing, and that's the Chakra UI. Okay, so this is the one library we're going to use, and you can install it to get started here. And we need to work with React and a couple of, so install your project directory star Chakra UI by running either of the following. So we are using npm, so we can run this. So I go here, and we are running our server for the front end using npm. So you can see here we only have the 3000 in our network. This I also open another tab here, and in the same directory I run this Chakra UI command, so that we have this library components available to us, so that we can use them. All right, so how it goes. So we have provider setup. After installing Chakra UI, you need to set up Chakra provider. So you can see here we are doing it in index.jsx, and there import the Chakra provider and then wrapping the app with it. So if I go to source, and there we have now There are a few files we don't need now right now. So the app tests, I don't need it. I delete it. Index.css, if you want some kind of CSS, you can do this. I delete this too. We don't need CSS right now. I delete app CSS as well. And we have the index.js. Now here, if you see the index CSS is called, we can remove it because we deleted it already. We are using the app here, and same way they advised us to wrap the chakra provider, so we need to do it here. And yeah, so SVG. Okay, one thing I want to tell you that this we are getting the root ID, and we are binding our React app there. So if you go in public index.html, here is the ID of root where we are binding it. So if you are working with any HTML theme, you need to do the same. Just put your code, create ID of root or anything, and then mention it here to bind it. All right, then that should be working. So now if I go to React app, we are getting app CSS is missing, and I go to app.js, we remove this too because I deleted it. All right, so our header is gone now. So far so good. Let's see if the package is installed. So we have our package installed. Okay, so let's get started. So for clear all the other files, we just have the. So I want to install a few more packages because we need to have the pagination working and everything else. We also want to have a doc theme. So what I want to do, I'll go back to here and I will install these packages straight away so that later on we can straight away work. And I install here styled components, and then we need the React router as well because we don't want the pages to refresh. We want each component to load straight away. So for that we will use React router. We need the pagination. So for that we use Chakra paginator package here, and these packages, and I'll leave the. I need to add force here. I'll leave the in the description what packages you need to install so you can install those packages. Now also we need the icons, so we need to pass the Chakra UI icons. So this is the for icons, and yeah, mostly that's it. So let's see. So here, first thing first I want to do is I want to get the color script mode from the Chakra UI. So it's gonna be like this, and we want to pass it inside our strict mode. So here we say React render, React strict mode, and then we want to pass inside it like this. All right. Now what we want to do here is that in our app.js, I'm going to include color switcher mode. So I'm going to put here the statement. So it's going to be import. It's going to like this color. Color mode, and then switcher. All right. From, and I made a mistake here. Okay, so here we simply say color. So this is going to be a custom class basically, a file basically, and we want to include it from the same path where we have the app.js. So I'm gonna pass here, and I'm gonna call it color mode and switcher. So this is gonna help us in our theme. So yeah, so currently we still get the error because we don't have this class. I'm calling it class, I don't know why, but it's a file. So here in the app.js, next to it we're gonna call or create this file. So here, so it's gonna be .js, all right, and here we need to use the import React from React. Then we want to use the color mode in this, and so I'm going to simply import these. So it's going to have use color mode, use color mode and value, and then icon button. All right, this is from Chakra UI. We will be importing it. So then we need is the import the icons. So I want the moon icon and sun icon for the theme changing. So FA moon, FA, then sun. And you can check the docs for it for the icons. So simply gonna call here from React icons /va. All right, and here export constant, and we want to call it color mode switcher. All right, is equal to props, and then here we want to say constant and toggle color mode. Few things will make sense once everything is done, so don't just stay with me here. So here, use color mode, we will be using it, and then we have constant, then we want text, and we say here use color mode, okay, and value. Now here we want to say dark and light. I'll show you how it all works, so don't worry. So dark and light. So here, after that, we have constant switch icon. Okay, and we will say here use color mode value, and we want to have the far moon and far sun. Okay, now here I put a return, and simply I'm gonna pass here icon button, and I'm just gonna close it. Okay, this is a component from the Chakra UI. So it takes some values here, so we can say here size. So size is going to be MD, medium. Put it next line here. And then we have font size. That's going to be large for now. You can have it these dynamic if you want to. For now, I'm just going to pause it like this. So variant and then we need color, and then margin. I will add some margin here. And then we want on click. On click, it is going to be toggle color mode. So just gonna get that and paste here. Then icon, and inside it we want to pass switch icon. So we have here, need to make it capital I. Alright, all looks good so far. I also pass props here, props. Now getting this React icon for error, so if we go and search for it, we have React icons. We need to install it, so npm install React icons. I install this package. Now if I go back in the Google, you will see the React icons. There are these icons. You can call any of the icons. You can see that it's copied the name of the icon. You can see here. So this is the icon, how you can use it. So these are, you can check this list as well. So let's say if I go back here, we have it installed. So that error goes away. So far so good. So now what I'm going to do, I'm going to go back to app.js, and in app.js we included the switcher. We will be using it pretty soon. Now here, initially, if you remember, we need to use the chakra provider. So I go back here, and here's the image that is getting loaded in our app. So this is the image, and then the added text, I think it's at the bottom, you can see here. So we can remove this because we don't need it. So simply I'm gonna remove this whole portion, and we have this. So what I do is simply put everything inside the chakra provider. So pass it like this. Okay, so whatever we will have inside it. So now before going any further, let's see some chakra components. So if I go to Chakra UI, we have here components. We have here button. We can see box. So we can create box like this. We can pass here some text and something. We can create here. You can see we can pass images like this. So you need to pass the the source, and you can pass the alt. And also we have badges. We can use badges. We have a lot of things going on here. So for this, what we need to do here, simply we say first of all, because we will be using these components, so here import, and here inside it, first thing first, we call here is chakra provider. So I'm gonna put it here, right here, and then I'm gonna say here from, and from is going to be the chakra UI. So it's gonna be, we need to put it like this, like that. So if I go back here, we still refresh. So we don't have any errors so far, so good. So it's fine. That it's finding it. So we need box. So I'm gonna call the box here, and we will be using it. So let's do it. So I copy this. I put box here. Now we can pass here values. So text, align, and I want it to be center. I'm not gonna pass it dynamic. I'm just gonna pass it static for now. Center. And then font size. Now how these values you can set, you can check on the docs again on the Chakra UI, like how they are doing it. So you can see here font size and all those things here. So font size here, we need to say extra large. All right, and we can have here like some content. So you can see that it's in the middle, center, some content is displaying there, perfectly fine. Now we need to work with the grid. So if I give here grid, you can see that we can divide the content like this in the grid items. So also we have what I want to show you is the link. We have links here, so you can use a link and create a chakra URL link. You can see like that. We need to add this. There is also a we stack, so you can check that too. So it's a stack component, this component which is only facing vertical direction. Additionally, you can add a divider vertical spacing. So here we have a stack for horizontal directions. You can see that we can have the division of content. So you can have a stack for horizontal. You provide a spacing. You have boxes arranged 1 to 3, so they are arranged like that. So if you want it, these are responsive, and it's the same way we can have vertical stack here. You can see. So yeah, these are very useful. So now let's get into it. So we have some content we don't need it. We just remove it. So I'm gonna pass here grid, and whatever component you pass or use, you need to make sure you are calling it. So here on top, so I'm gonna call this grid as well, and here in the grid we want the min h. It's gonna be the min height. I'm gonna give it 100, and it's gonna be vertical. Okay, so now padding equals, you can pass number like this, so we can pass it like this. Okay, now we have color switcher mode, we haven't called it, so I'm just gonna copy this and paste it here. Okay, you can have it like this, or I'm just gonna close it this way, and then it's gonna be justify, and spelling should be correct, justify, so justify self. It's gonna be flex. All right, now we talked about the we stack, so we will use that here. It's gonna be we, and then stacks is capital, so it's gonna be like this. And so Visual Studio added it for us, so it's now there. We can define spacing, so we need to define spacing here. So I say spacing going to be equal to 8, and the spellings are not right, so spacing. All right, now inside it, what do we want? We want to have a we can use a logo from Chakra as well, but what I want to do, I want to put a text, so we can hear text, and it's not gonna add it, so alright, so we're calling it, so we get it from here. So if you need to insert text, you need to call the text. And here, I'll pass some text here. So here, some content. For now, just to see. We want a link. I haven't called link on top, so we need to do that too. So let's first do that. Link. Alright. And if you want to pass some values, I just pass a random text here. So for now, so explore more. Here in link we pass color, and it's gonna be teal, 500. And then what is the value going to be? So href. So it's https://google.com. All right, font size, and I pass a string to xwell. Should be big. Target. I pass it as blank. And then rel. I'll leave it for now. So, and also, if you notice, we have here icon of moon. So if I click this icon, it gets dark. And click, it goes back. So this is also working. So yeah. So now you know that this much is working, and this is how we can use the components from the Chakra UI. So basically we can import and call, and we can use links, we can use text, we can stack things, we have color mode switcher, we have grid, we have box. So this was just to give you some heads up to start before, because we're gonna do a bit of a different approach in this case. We are not going to use this way because this is just a text and link. We not want it that way. We want a bit advanced because we want a paginated content working here. The theme will be working as well. So first thing first, what I want to do, because I just wanted to show you, so I'm just going to remove this. So we have Chakra provider here, and here I'm going to show you a theme provider, which is going to be for styled components that we installed initially, if you remember. So I'm going to copy and paste on top, and then call this theme provider here. And this is going to handle our theme. So the theme provider will be dealing with the our doc and stuff. Okay, so what are we going to do? We want to close it here. And actually, we need to wrap everything inside it. So inside it, I need to set whatever content we want to be affected by theme. It goes inside it. Here we say theme equals, and here we say theme. If it is equals to light, then it's going to be light theme. Alright, otherwise it's going to be dark theme. Now we don't be using the color switcher mode, so we'll remove it. Now how we will be finding it, what is happening, what theme is what theme. So for that, what we want to do, we want to create a file with the name of theme.js. So here we have the app.js. Next to it, we call a file called theme.js. Alright, this file will have the style component imported just like this. So I'm going to copy this, go here, paste here, here, and remove this. And what we need here is create global style. Okay, this is what we need, and how it works I'm gonna show you. So here, export constant, and then I want to say light theme, the one we are using here, light theme and dark theme, we're gonna define in this file. So here, light theme equals, and then we want to pass the properties. So I'm going to pass the properties straight away because I have written down here, so we can save some time. So this is going to be the properties for light. It's the same way dark theme, export, and constant again. It's going to be dark theme equals, and the properties will be just to display everything dark. So here it is. Now we want a global export as well. So global export constant, and it's going to be global style. It's going to be equal to create global style. All right, and this create global style will have, it's kind of having all the components. So just gonna paste here. So it just says like, oh, everything. so after, before, body, so it's gonna affect everything. Alright, so this is the theme.js. We need to call this file here inside it. So let's do that. Here we say import, and it's gonna be basically, we will be calling the light theme because we are using these this way so that it can find where it is getting from. So it's getting from here, doc theme. And the last one is global styles that we defined, base one, so that goes there too. All right, now what do we need? The next step would be the browse router. Now if I go to the React router, so React router, and here we go to the docs installation. We already ran this command, if you remember, initially, but there is a browser router. So basically, when you define routes, so for example, we have route here for home and about, and so you need to have your app wrapped up with the browser router so that your components can go to the different components without refreshing the page, and we'll see how it works. So basically, first thing first, here theme. Okay, so we haven't defined the theme as well, so let's do that. So for theme, okay, so it's going to be a state, and what we're going to do, we're going to simply say here on the app, so here constant, and I create here theme, and then I say set theme. All right, and then we want to have use state. So by default, we want this, our theme, which is going to be selected, is going to be light. All right, so the set theme so far, we need to call first the use state and use on top here. So here import, we will be using the use state. It's gonna basically helps us to update the state, and also use effect. We will be using it, and this is from React. So from React. All right, so we use the use state, but use effect we hasn't used. We will be using it now. So before doing anything, we want to have the set theme that is going to be done when we click a button. So before that, what I'm gonna do, I want to call the router, so that we just saw here. So I'm just gonna go here, copy the browser router here, and this goes right there inside theme provider, and here close it. Okay, so if I go back here, it says imported from React DOM on top here, so we need to do that. Okay, so now we have access to it. Inside it, we will use this global style, so that each component will have it. All right, now what do we want to do? We want to use those things that we saw previously, the box, the components of Chakra, basically the box and the stack and those things. So let's do that. So because we want to show some content here, so we want to have it here. So here I will first call the box. All right, we're gonna prepare it for displaying our posts. So here first I put box, I give it a padding of let's get a pixel, and let's get padding of 4. Here inside it, I'm gonna call flex, so we can have a navigation here. It's, so say here 16. Align going to be center. Align items going to be center. and then I say here justify content. So it's justify the complete width, and here space between. All right, so far so good. We can use the stack here, horizontal stack, if you remember, to have our navigation item. So here it's stack. Okay, and inside we have the first I want a spacing here, so spacing, and that is going to be equal to 16. Align again, align items. I want to align this time, so left. All right, so inside it we create another edge stack. Okay, now this one is going to have as equals nav, and then we want spacing as well. I want spacing to be 6. Then we want display, and by default display, what I set is as an object. So here pass here base as none, and then md, and it's going to be flex. Okay, we're going to see in a moment how this all affects. So here we need a link inside because it's a navigation. So link, and inside link we want to have home. Now link should go to, now why 2? Because we are using a router, React router, so we need to use 2 here. And here then we have link, and again another link. You might have multiple, so many, but for me I'm gonna add only 2. This is going to be contact slash contact actually, and I pass here contact. All right, now yeah, so we let's see if we're getting error. Obviously we must be okay. We don't have flex defined, so we need to have flex, and that goes again. I'm going to break it down here so that we can have more things easily visible. So pass it like this. So this is also a component from Chakra UI. Refresh. You can see we have home here. Nothing happening. We check that, but you can see we have our navigation working. Okay, let's proceed now here in our code. We got the flex. Okay, so here after the it's stack, what do we want to do? We want to have a search. So there's going to be an icon for it. So I'm gonna pass it here. So it's gonna be search. Okay, search to icon. It's 2. Again, you can check for the icons in the icons. So if so we need to go here. We have the icons. So I'm gonna copy and paste. I have it here. Previously we added the moon and the sun, and moon icon and sun icon. The search icon is here. So this is from Chakra UI. All right, so we are using it here. And on click of this, we will do something. But for now, I'm just gonna leave it. And you can see that it's showing up there. Now what do we need? We need the flex again, and here I'm gonna say align items, and this is gonna be center. All right, and inside it we want to have spacer. We can use spacer as well. So spacer like this. Then we need the stack. Okay, so we call stack. In the stack, what do we want? First of all, I want to say properties here, so direction, and that's going to be row. Each of these components can be checked from the website of Chakra UI. So if you have any confusion, check there. The most part, I think I will be able to solve it, but still, if you miss something. Direction spacing is there. Now what we want to switch because we want to have a switch that will turn off the dark mode and the light mode. So for that, what we want to do, we want to have a switch. All right, and here I add that switch, and you can see that it displays there. Now here in the switch, what do you want to call? I pass ID, not here, ID, and I call it actually we don't need ID, we need our own change event. We will do that, but for now I'm gonna pass here the I'm gonna set state here. So basically you're gonna say is switch on. This is going to be the state we will check for. If it is on, what do we want to do? We want to display the moon icon. So here, just gonna remove this. This is going to be moon icon. So, all right, in margin right, we can give some margin here. Let's give 5. Can remove this. All right. Else, if that is not the case, what we want the sun icon. So here, sun icon. In the same way, margin right 5. So same styling it gets. All right. So we don't have this property, so we must be giving error. It is not defined, so we need to define it. So let's do it. So here on top, where we have our states, here we define another. It's constant is switch on. This goes in array, and then we say here set is switch on. All right. Use state. We need to pass a default value. By default, what it is going to be, and for this, in this case, we want to pass true. So you can see that if I pass true, it's moon there. False, it's sun now. So pass true. All right, so far so good. We don't have it effective currently, but let's see what things are not working. In the console, we don't have any error. We have our switcher there. Icons are here. Now, one click of this, one change of this switch, we can put a function so it affects. Because currently we are not doing it, so it's not doing anything at all. So what I do simply, I say switch here. And we can put on change. We can pass here on change. Okay, change theme. Switch. Okay, Now we need to define it. So I just copy this and go above here. Just after the states, here we pass a comment and switch theme on and off. So here we can say like this. First of all, I say constant. Okay. All right. Now, what do we want to do when someone hits it? So we need to change the theme. So first of all, I want to say I want to create a variable. So say here let new value, and is by default it is null, and whatever this value is. So we say here new value equals not switch. So so we say is switch. So we are getting the this whatever it is the value inside this state. So we are saying if it is true, then put false here. If it is false, put true here. That's what we are doing. And then we are saying set basically switch, and we are passing this new value like this. You can pass this straight away too, but just to make it sure like how it is working. Now here, what we can do now, we can set the theme. So if you see here, we have the set theme, so we can set that theme too. So if I say here, if not, new value, actually it's a ternary operator, and here I say set theme. If not, then pass it like dark, else set theme again, pass it like light. Okay, so it will update that, so it should take effect on it. You can see that we have the dark theme, we are changing the icon as well, and it's working perfectly fine. Navigation not looking good, we will work on it, but so far our changing theme is working great. So where we are, basically we now have the now what I want to do basically here. Now if I change the theme, it turns everything dark and then everything white. What I want to do, I want to have the navigation with the white color when the theme is dark, and the theme is white, navigation should be dark, something like that. So we see navigation separate. So for that, what we do basically here in the box, we need to set a few things. So here, now here. So I remove this first, it started from start. So I say BG background, and here I'm going to say theme if equals to light. Alright, so here we can pass the background, and otherwise it's white. Alright, we can set more things here. So here border button, border button, and that's going to be quite same. So I'm gonna just copy and paste this, break this down. Now when theme is light, we want here solid 1 pixel dark, and otherwise solid 1 pixel white. So okay, now here after bottom button we have color, so color needs to be set as well. Again, I'm gonna copy this, actually I'm gonna copy this, paste here, and here it's gonna be reversed. So alright, now if we go back to our app, we have the navigation like this, and yeah, that's what we want. And border button property, Actually, it's bottom. Okay, should be all right. Okay, great. Now we have it. So bit of styling still is causing issues, so we need to see about that. But before now, I want to show you how we can include the style. So when we go to the icon of any, so for example, if I go here on the search icon, it should, get cursor. Cursor should be pointer, so it should be like this. So we need to do that. So we can include style here. So if I go in app here, we simply say app.css. That's it. In here, in the app.js, importing is quite easy. All you need to say import. That's it. And you don't say what you're importing. You just say import and the file you're importing. So app.css. So it will affect. Now for this search icon, so this is the icon, this is the class for it, so we can use it. So in our here, I'm gonna say dot this class. We also need to pass this here, and here I'm gonna say cursor pointer. Alright, and it should work now. So if I go back here, you can see that it is doing the job. I want some spacing here, so I pass here px, and I pass as x4. It gets us some spacing. Now I want everything to be, so this search should be in the middle and this should be in the corner. Now the one thing that is causing a problem, that this search is not going in the middle and this is not going in the corner, because I have the h stack here, and this h stack is inside it. The h stack should go and close here so that we have our content displayed properly. So now if you see that we have it here, okay, so there was a page refresh required for making it work, so it's now working. So far so good. What we need to do now is the links. So when we click here, it should change. So if we go to a React router, they said that we need to wrap it with the browse router. Then we need to define the routes. So routes we need to define like this. And then we say that if the user goes to slash, then they're going to be a component responsible for that route. If user goes to about, they're going to be another component. So we need to create those components. So what I'm going to do here in our application, we need to wrap here inside it. So I'm going to create a div after this box because it's going to be navigation, and we will be putting it like this, div. Alright, class name, and class name I'm going to pass it as app. Inside it, I'm going to use container. So container is going to be basically going to have some width set to it, and that width will make the content in the middle. So I say here max width, so it's going to be, I'm going to pass it as 1200 pixel, and margin top as well. So margin top, and we can pass it like this as well, so 50 pixel. Inside this, we are going to pass the routes, just the way they mentioned in the website. So, or you can copy them if you want to. So we can paste here like that. All right, but our route's going to be a bit different. But when we go here, we need to go to home route. That's we call it main route, and then we have a contact. So slash contact, and for that we are going to create a contact route. right? So that's what we want. So far so good. Now we don't have these routes, so obviously we will be getting the error here. And also we are getting routes is not defined, route is not defined. So that is because we need to include this from here. And we go here and put it here. Actually, React router DOM, so we can cut it from here and put in here. And the link we're gonna use is from the router, so we can remove the from chakra. It's gonna be import. So if I go back now, okay, now the question is main and contact, because we mentioned this and these two components, but we don't have these components, so we need to create these components. So inside the source directory, we create a folder named components, and inside these components we can create the components. So further, I create a directory I call pages, and you can have multiple pages. So here I create a file inside it. It's going to be main.jsx. all right, now here in the app, all right, so the main component is here outside the pages directory, and inside pages I create another component. It's contact.jsx. I have a plugin installed. It's generates the syntax here, so simply by saying this, we don't need the React import here. So here we have contact showing up, and in main we have main showing up. Okay, so it's just gonna display as it is. So currently we need to import these. So here I say import main from, and then I say here components, and then main, and then simply import, and this time contact from components. This time it is inside pages, and then contact. All right, so it will. So now you can see that refresh, we have main by default. So if I get contact, we have contact main, and we main. We are not refreshing anything, and it's working just fine. All right, great. Now let's close the in contact. I'm not going to put much because it's a contact page with some content you might want to add here, some form or something you want to. I just wanted to show you that you can create multiple pages, so you can do that. We're gonna work mainly here on main because we want pagination and everything, and we want to show the data posts there. So in the main we have only this showing up right now, so we need to get the posts. Okay, so what we need to do here, first of all, I want to get the posts. So we want to import some stuff here first. So we need to use state for setting up the state, and use effect. So once the component loads, we run some function. So here I say import, and I want to say react. Then I also want to say here use state and use effect. These two we need from React. All right, so this is what we need here. We will be using pagination in this page, so we'll do that. But before that, what I want to do, I want to get the data. So let's write code for it. So here I say constant, and here are going to be posts. So they're going to be total posts we will be showing to user. So total posts, here I say set posts total, and use state to set posit undefined by or null, whatever you want to say for now. So constant then another is going to be post. So we need to loop through this. So it's going to be set posts. In here, use state again, and by default it's going to be empty array. Now we want to get the posts, so we want to use the use effect. So we say use effect, and here I want to run a function. So I pass here empty array, so this runs only once, and I want to say here console.log hello. I go back here and refresh. We have hello. Alright, so we are getting the hello twice, so refreshing the page, and when we go in here, so we are not doing it twice, we're just doing it because when you pass empty array it should run only once. So for that we need to go into the index.js. We have React strict mode, we need to remove it. We need to remove color mode strict because I used this previously to show you how initially we will do it, but we need to do it this way. So we can remove this color mode script from top as well. Now it should work just fine. So if I see here only one hello, so refresh, now we get a contact, go back here, it fires only once. So that's what we wanted. So if I go back to the code and here main, now we want to run a function here. So I'm going to call a function, I'm going to call it fetch posts, and basically what this fetch post is going to do, it is going to get us the posts. So and those posts we're going to display. So here we want to pass few parameters. It's going to be page size, so and the offset. So each time how many posts you want, and that's going to be decided. Then we say posts. So we just get our response and pass a function here. So it's going to be posts, and whatever posts we get, we can console log here. And then later on we can deal with it, whatever we want to do, because currently we don't have this function, so we need to add it. So here we get the post, so I say fetching and posts from database. Alright, so here we call the function. So it's a constant fetch posts. It's going to be a sync, and we pass here page size, offset. These two values will be required because we need pagination here. Then we will get a response. Alright, fetch, and here we're going to pass the URL, and we have the database working, so we have the content already inside it, so we can call through it. So how we do it, because we create an API, so what I want to do, I want to pass the API link. So it's going to be something like this. It's going to be http://. So we are working with localhost ZAP right now, so it's going to be localhost / and if you remember initially when set up the API, so we go to API, then in routing, and in routing we have this URL for posts, so we need to have this. So which one was it? Main here. So we can pass this like this. So React PHP API post. Alright, and now we will be passing here limit, and limit going to be equal to, we will pass the page size here. Alright, and then we say end, offset, and that is going to be equal to, again, we need to pass here offset. So we are passing these values, and whatever we get in return, that's going to be the response. So return and await response.json. All right, great. So this is the URL. It should get us what we need. So if I go here, page size, and this is not defined. So we need to, when we call it, we need to basically pass it. I'm gonna see that if it works or not. So by default now, when it runs once, I want to pass. I'm gonna set the value, so let page size to be, I want to have 10 posts, and let offset to be, we will set it later on when we set the pagination, but for now just set it like this, so it's going to be 0. All right, so now if we go here, refresh, and if we see here, we have this error, and that's all right because PHP side we are not handling it currently. So it is going with the limit 10, offset 0. And now we need to see if we are getting the in the PHP and there we handle it. So here I'll fail to fetch, and yeah, let's do this. So what we need to do, we need to go to the PHP side. So in the API, in the routing, if you remember, we are not dealing with the query strings currently. So if we go in main, we are passing it as a query string. So if you're getting it, it's like this. So we need to deal with this. If the URL has the limit and offset, we need to catch it. So here, what we want to do, if you remember, we can go to localhost and PHP React there. So it will fire the index.php, which was the main file outside everything. So if I close this here, this file, what I want to do, I want to comment this get posts, and this is not going to store posts in our database anymore. We already have it, so we don't need it. So I can comment this too. All right, so what do we need? We need to check the URLs. So we need to go into the routing, and here we need to check the URL first. So let's see. So if I go here and say API slash something, so we get this. Now in our main, we are passing the limit and offset. So we're just gonna do that now. So we're gonna say API posts and limit equals 10 and offset equals 0. Okay, so we're getting this. Now we need to extract these values. Okay, so we go to the routing.php, and there we write the functionality. So here what I'm going to do, now we know that we have this coming, so we can look for it. So handling query string, and here we say if string contains, all right, so it's a dollar current link, that's the string, and if it contains question mark, and what do we want to do? So we want to do this. We want to say update this link, and what this link will be like. So we say it's going to be equal. First thing first, we need to explode it. Explode, basically break it and make it an array. So break it with question mark. So, and the whatever we get, so we pass here. So pass here like that. So it's gonna explode it like that. Okay. So if I refresh here, so we get here first string this, then we get limit equals 10 and offset equals 0. So we need to make it in the way so that when someone goes to some route, so for example, we have this route, if someone is looking to get the post, so this controller and this method would be called. We haven't set up that yet, so let's do that. So what we need to do, I'm going to first get array on this URL array here, and I'm gonna put here available route. So we will say check if route available. And here, what are we gonna do? We say dollar available routes. All right, and these are going to be routes array underscore keys. All right, and we want to get the keys, these keys from this array. So we put this here. All right, and here, what are we gonna do? We're gonna simply set a if in underscore array, and we pass here dollar current link. So we are just checking if this is inside these available routes. So you can see here we exploded, this is inside it, it is present, so it is going to be working. So here we want to say the array name, so that's the available routes. We pass it here, and then we would say here if not, and I'm gonna say here header, so that we throw 404. So it's gonna be http /1.0 404 not found. Exit. And otherwise we want to use something. Now what do we want to do? We want to create a file, and I want to create this file here in the next to routing. I'm going to call it API.php, and this will handle and make sure that we get to that particular controller and method. So here, what I want to do, I want to simply say /API, and then API, and they're going to be a method, which is going to be routing. In that routing method, we'll have current link and all available links. All right, so we're passing this in there. Now we need to create this, so we go back there. So simply go in here. Now here we need to make sure that in the API, first of all, let's start PHP. I call the namespace. It's going to be API, and here it's going to be class API, and then you want a static method because we call it static method statically here for the routing, so we need to call routing method statically. So public static function routing. All right, and if you remember, we passed here arguments, so I'm just going to copy these, paste here, and here let's say try. So I'm going to go through each of the URLs, what we have in this array. So let's do that. A try statement, I'm going to run loop for each. I can get the URLs as $URL, and I also want to get the index of it, so it's $index, like that. And here, what we're going to do, we're going to check that if the index is not as a current link, because index is going to be the key. So in the routing, these are going to be the keys for this. So here we say if $index is not equal to $current link, we want to skip it, so it's going to be continue. Otherwise, we want to do something. So that if there route is not present in this array, it is going to continue. So skip that particular iteration. After that, it is going to go in. If it is present, it is going to get the value. This value we need to deal. So here what we say, we will get the controller and method. So we say getting controller and method out, something like that. Here we say dollar route element is equal to explode, and what we are going to explode, the URL. So we want to explode it with that, because if you remember, the value is this, and we have the method here. We are passing it in an array, and this is the first value, so it's going to be here dollar URL 0, like that. Then here we can say dollar class name, also dollar function. All right, so the class name is here, this, and the function name is this. So let's extract that. So we say here dollar route element, class name is going to be 0, and function name going to be the onIndex 1. So it's going to be 1. Now if we have the class and function, we are going to also check if the file is present. So if user we extracted this, so we want to make sure that this controller is present in controller's directory. So for that, what we want to do, we want to put another check here. It's going to be check if controller present. So basically what we say if not file exists, so it's the file exists method, you pass here the path, so it's a controllers slash and then dot here dollar class name, then dot here again, and at the end we need to pass PHP because that's the PHP file. Now here we simply return statement. We can say here controller not found. So if we don't find it, return this. Now if we find it, it won't go here, it go further. So here what we're gonna do, we're gonna say dollar class is equal to, we want to say here API and then controllers, and then we want to pass here class name. So we want to instantiate the class dynamically. So we say here dollar object, and here it's going to be equal to new dollar class. So whatever is the class, get it and create instantiate it. We're dynamically creating an object, and dynamically we can create call the function. So we simply say here dollar function, and it is going to call the function. So you get the idea. Here we are passing link in the URLs, here we are using it, and that when we are calling it here, it is going to include the method, the function. Now the thing is, we have in our case API posts, and then we have these two. We need to work with this as well. Alright, so now we have route, we have limit, we are already having here this route. Now we are passing it here, and this is going to decide which function it goes to. So it is going to basically take it to the function dynamically. So it's going to go to the post controller and then the method. So we have our method here, get posts, and for the current route we have method name get post from database. So if I go to here, we have get, we don't have that function. So first thing first, I'm going to add that function here. So let's do that here. So it's public function, and it is get, should I copied it? No. Okay, get posts from database. All right. And here for now, I'm just gonna say return 1 to 3, so we can see something is returning. Now here, if we see currently we are getting the site can't be reached, so for that we go to routing here. I need to display the errors so we see what happens. Refresh, and we need to take the exit on top. So here, let's put it here. Okay. Okay, so we go here, comes to this file, and alright, so make sure your server is running. So I was having issue with server. Now if I put exit here and refresh, you get the white screen. So okay, so I remove this. Now we are in here, so it should give us the URL till there. Then I remove this too, so it goes further. Now it will go here and also this routing. So if I refresh, it says can't be found. So this is a 404, it's striked. So if you remember this, so if I control Z here, so what we are saying check this inside available routes, and available routes is the keys. So this is the route. So if I refresh here, so it checks for this, and you can see that it's currently it is not. Basically we need to pass it like this so that this matches only this string, not the whole array. So if I refresh now, you'll see it will be a string. Now it will be checking here, so we need to pass it as this, the first parameter. So it goes there in available routes. Refresh, now it goes to API. Alright, so this comes here. We need to include this file. So here we say require, and I'm in routing, and this file is the API, so it's right here. So where it is, api.php, so I just include it, api.php, and alright, it goes further. So now if I go to this, I'm gonna improve a bit of a code here. So here, instead of calling it like this, I'm gonna remove this, and we're gonna have a namespace used here. Use API and API like this. Now it will be able to find it. We already included the API file here, so it should be working. We are passing the 0, so that's the route this route is, basically, because it's getting from here, and then the URLs. So what I do to see that we are going into function, we take it here, and inside the api.php here, I'm gonna put something. So I'm gonna say var dump, put here, and then I put exit. Okay, so we see if it comes in this function. Refresh, we get here. So indeed it goes here. I'm gonna cut this. Alright, so here we check if we have the right function and class name. So here I simply get the class and I put inside it var dump, and also I get an object because that is created from class, and we also put it here. So see, so I refresh, and you can see it says API controllers post controller, so the class name is correct, and then the object we are getting that is also correct. So far so good. Okay, so we can remove this. Now here in the constructor you're returning here, so refresh. Now here we have the question mark and this query string, so we are doing this, and then we are using current like 0. But what if we don't have it? So if I remove it from here, So we will get an error because this time there is no 0 because we are not exploding it. And so in that case, what we need to do, we need to also have an else statement, and this portion will work only. So basically what we will do, we will put here a 0, and otherwise, actually let me check here. So we simply say var dump link exit. Now refresh, so you can see it's getting it. Now if I go back here, it's still getting it, so that's good. So if it is has the question mark, do it this way, otherwise without it. So without it, it still works. So we have the same route. Good, so that handles this. So we don't need to pass 0 now here, so we can handle this like that. Refresh. Right, so we're getting the white screen here. So for that, what we can do, we can, instead of returning, we can say echo. Try this, we get the output. Now what I want to do, I want to handle our functionality here. So try, then have catch. Catch, we dump. I say $_get. And we can see what values we are getting. So here I refresh. You will see we're getting limit and offset, so we can use it. So here, let's get one by one. So it's going to be $p per page, then $page number, and also I want a $posts array, which is going to be empty. Now I take this here and here, and we pass here limit or 5, here offset or 0. Now we can use it in a query. So I say here $SQL is equal to select all from posts. Okay, so we have this query here, which is going to use for get the total posts. So I say total posts is equal to MySQLi num rows, and I pass here MySQLi underscore query, and inside it we pass all this connection, and second is SQL. Okay, so here total posts. Now we write another one, $SQL is equal to select all from posts order by ID limit $per page offset, that's going to be $page number. Okay, now here we need $response, and this is going to be MySQLi query, and we pass the connection, and then we pass $SQL. Okay, so here if $response, what we want to do, we want to loop through, so while $row is equal to MySQLi fetch a sock, we pass here $response inside a $post array, where we will have post key, and then this will have the each row in it every loop when it runs. So Otherwise, if we don't have any response, we put else, and then we put here error, echo error, and here we say $SQL. We can put a break, and here MySQLi underscore error, $this con. Okay, now here $posts array, we can have a count of total posts. We can set it to from here to here. Now we need to close the connection to MySQLi. Close $this con, and then we say at last return, and here JSON, because we want to send data in JSON format. So $posts array, and I want to show it in a JSON pretty. So pretty print. If you want to see it, you can see it as well. So put echo, and just this, put it here, this space here. Alright, let's see if it works. So refresh, and we have the data. You can see here we have the ID, title, everything's coming. Now if I say echo pre on top to see it properly, so we say echo, and we put here pre, and go back here, refresh, you can see that we're getting data properly. So that's how we want it. So now we know that our API endpoint is returning data. So here, of limit of 10 posts are coming. Total posts are 100. You can see that that's also coming. Alright, so posts are coming now. So if I say here, let's say offset is 1, and you can see it is starting from 2, then 3, and it is totally 10 posts. So for example, we want to have first page going to have 10 posts, then we want to say offset is 10. So you can see that it's going to start from 11, and then we can say offset is next time going to be 20, and then so we will have 21, 22, 23. So you can see these. So that's how it's gonna work. So here in the function, I'm gonna we need to have this echo to return the response. We can comment this and comment this. Now, for as it is an API and we want to allow the cross origin, so we need to add the array headers. So I'm going to pass headers here. So we need to have it to allow for now, for everything is going to be allowed on this origin. So, and let's see. So here in our app, if you refresh, you will see here post limit, and we get the response. So you can see that we have the posts coming here straight away. Okay, so here in the file main.jsx, here we are getting the posts. Here where we are calling this function, we need to make it dynamic. We need to assign the values now. So we can call the set posts. So set post total, and if you remember the response we are getting here, so we have this JSON where we have count total posts, and then we have posts where we have array of objects. Okay, so we can assign this. So here always say posts.count and set posts, and this is going to be posts. All right, so this is gonna set the values for us, and we can also check these values if we are getting it. So here we can console. Actually, let's work on displaying these posts straight away. So for example, now if I go here, we are already having the response coming. So here I say post.post just to see if we are getting it. Console.log. go back, and you can see we're getting the 10 posts. So we're getting the data. That's perfectly all right. Now we are going to use the Chakra Paginator. So we installed that package initially, if you remember. So if I go in the package.json, so there should be the paginator, you can see here. So now what we need to do basically here, first I import it. So on top, I'm gonna copy paste the statement here. So I'm gonna copy the paginator from Chakra Paginator. Alright, so that's what we need basically. So to start with, now here we can call this paginator. So I go on top, copy it, paste here. Okay, so this is going to have a grid, and I'm gonna add grid. Okay, and template columns going to be, we define like how many we want in the row. So for 1, for we also need to define the gap, and this is also a string, not straight away. So here gap 6, and then I close it. All right, and here we need a pagination. So I pass here container page group, and okay, to close the page group, and we need to pass some values here. So here I want to say is inline line center. All right, now here in the container we want to say align center, justify space between, then we have width full, then we have padding 4, and then margin top, you can pause here 50 pixel. Now in grid we need to have posts. So if you see here, we are setting the posts, and this is the post, so we can use it. So here I say posts dot map. All right, posts dot map. So inside it we need to run a function. Function is going to have some values, obviously. So here I say return, and I'm going to create a component, so I call it post list component, and we pass here key equals ID. Now we don't have this ID, so we need to get it from here. So ID, then we also want title. So whatever data we are getting, so we are getting here ID, title, and so we can pass it here. So ID, title, content, user ID, image. All right, and yeah, that's basically it, and that's what we need. So here key is ID, then ID is ID, title is title. So these are basically props. Content is content, then user ID is user underscore ID. Now last is the image, so put it in a new line. Image equals image, and I close it. All right, that's good enough. Now we're gonna get an error because we don't have it, this component. So what I do, I go here inside pages, or not inside pages, next to the inside components. I say blog components. Inside this directory, I create a file, and I call this post list here. Post list .jsx, and all right. First, we need to import it. So import it. So import post list. So it is imported, and we are using it. Now here in post list, we need to change the code. So here, simply we're gonna use some things. So first import. I'm gonna bring box as well as badge, and this is from Chakra UI. So I'm gonna copy paste here, Chakra UI, and then also we need link. So import link. Now this link, so we had the link before here from React DOM, so we need that. Okay, so link from here, not the rest of the stuff, just link. Okay, so let's get started here. I remove this. Inside it, we need to use the box first of all. Inside box, I first set some values here, max width. I call it some border width 1 pixel, border radius large, overflow, and it's gonna be hidden, and then equals to 15. Okay, inside it, what we want is link. Now this link will have source, 2. Okay, this 2 will have a title. Now we want this title to be in slug way. So okay, I'll create a function and pass it slug like this. I have this function I created, so I'm just gonna use it, and just to save time. So here where we have first list, we're gonna pass here slug, so it will be called. So all it is doing is converting the whatever string we are passing. It is lowercasing it, replacing a gap with the dash. So it's basically making it a slug. So that's what it is going to be. All right. So simple and clear. State to be ID. Okay. Now we have it. Now we want an image. So here img, and img will close itself. Source is equal to going to be the image. Then we want to have alt. You can put anything. We can put title. Up to you. What do you want? So here we pass box again. All right. Here I think it's going to be 6, and basically it. Inside it, we can create another box and close it. Now this one will have slug. Title. t going to be 1. Then we have font weight. Font weight is going to be semi-bold. Then we want as, and it's going to be h4. Then we want line height, and line height is going to be tight. And here inside it we can pass the title, just display the title simply. Alright, and after this box we can basically put a line. Alright, so we put a horizontal line here, and after that we need the box. And here I want to say display to be flex, align items, and I want it to be baseline. Alright, now inside this we want to have badge, border radius full, and now as we have this badge, we can put here on, and here I'm going to say box again. So here we have badge. Now we can show the created time or something here as well, but I don't have it. But what we can do in our case, if we see our data, so for now let's put the user ID there instead. So okay, so I put a user in here. We simply gonna say here color to be gray, about 500, and here we can put user ID. Alright, now these values, title, image, these are the props, so we need to pass here. If you see we pass these here, so to receive these you need to have it here. So where ID, title, content, then we have image, and then user ID. So check if we have these. Yeah, user ID and then image actually. So yeah, I think order doesn't matter, but okay. So now here this is. I put some more things here. So here font weight, it's gonna be semi-bold. Then we want letter spacing, but we are just putting the ID, so there's no need. So it's gonna be font size, and then we want ML. Alright, so far so good. Now here we have grid is not defined. So grid, we use grid in main, or use grid here. So we need to call the grid, and so I'm just gonna paste grid here. It should be fine then. Now let's see. Now we have here something. Let's see what is happening. Okay, we have posts coming, so you can see that. So our posts, we have the first post, we have a user ID is showing up, and title is showing up, HR is showing up. So, and you can see when I hover on the here, we have the slug. So it goes there but doesn't show, but it works. So to make it in line to me, I made a mistake here. Since template columns here, I need to say repeat so that it repeats 4 times. So if I go here, you can see now it's repeating 4 times. We have the 10 coming here, so that latest 10. Now we want to show the pagination as well, so we work on that now. So far so good. So yeah, our posts are showing, and you can see so far so good. So if I, yeah, all right, now what do we need to do? We need to create another constant. So here I say constant. It is going to be object, and here I call pages quantity, and I say offset, and here current page, and then set current page. All right, and then page size. Now these are all going to be equal to the paginator. So this is use paginator, and here we want to say total, which is going to be the post total. So we have post total coming up here, so we can pass it like this, and then initial state. This is again going to be an object, and we need to pass here page size. So we say here 10 is disabled, and it's gonna be false. Current page 1. All right. And we also want to styling. So here I create a constant for styling. So normal style. All right. And the same way we say constant for active styles. Okay. So another object. So objects are here. Now here I put here width 10. Then we have height 10. Then we have BG, and they're going to be a color, so 3. Then we have color, and it's gonna be white. Then they're going to be font size. It's gonna be large, and underscore hover. In a moment I'll show you how it works. It's BG, it's a red, it's a string. In here it's gonna be color white, again string. Okay, so just gonna copy and paste it here too. I'm just gonna make changes here. Here green. If you're using a string, then use it this way. White, large. Most part it's alright. So just gonna pass it blue. Alright, looks good. Now what do we need to do? We need to pass these constants here in paginator. So here we say page quantity. So it's gonna be pages quantity. Okay, and the same way we want to pass others. So current page equals current page. Then we have on page change. Here I'm going to set current page. All right. Then we have active styles. That's going to be equal to active styles, and then normal styles. Normal styles equals normal starts. All right. Okay, so now we have the pagination bar here. You can see on our red. On click, it gets blue. So far, our pagination is not working, so we need to make it work. So here, click on this, but the results are not changing. So what we need to do here is that we need to update the use effect. We need to say when we change the current page, then this should take effect. And page size and offset. So if I go now and refresh, and initially when we started, if you remember, we added here this page size 10 and offset 0. So it's each time it is setting it that and it just doing it. So that's the reason when we go here, the pagination doesn't work. It each time gets the same results. So if I see here, you can see that each time 10, 0, 10, 0, each time that's happening. So we need to remove it. And now it will take it from here. So page size and offset. So now if I go here and click on 2, you will notice that the post chain 3 post chain. So you can see that this time it's post offset 20. So it's changing each time, and before that it was 10. So here, so yeah, it's changing. Now we can check what exactly post we are getting. So for example, if I go to the refresh here, so if I go to, let's check, this is the second post here, and if I go here, yeah, it's checking the next post, so that's perfectly fine. It's taking the next 10 posts. So here you can see limit 10, next post, so 11 to 20. So if I hit here third, so it should be yeah, limit 10, offset 20, so it's 21 to 30. Perfect. So far so good, our pagination working, posts working. Now let's work on the search. Right now let's work on search. So here in the, where we have the search, so search is in our app.js, and there we have the search icon here. So here I want to say on click, and on click, what I want to do, I want to open say here on open. Okay, so basically we want a model to come up, and then we can use that model, and in that model we will search whatever we want to search. So here I'm going to create a constant again, and this is going to be state. I'm going to say here actually we will use here. Okay, so what we want to do basically, I want to say constant again. Here it's going to be is open, and then it's going to be on open, and then on close. Alright, and here we want to say use, and they're going to be disclosure. Use disclosure. Now we use disclosure, so we have it included here as we want to open the model. So for that, what I'm going to do, I'm going to call the model. So here you need to create a model just after this box. So here I add one. So model. Alright, and inside it, first we need to set a few properties, so let's do that. Here I say initial focus, and it's going to be initial ref. Alright, then we want to say here is centered. we want to say on close, the one we used above, so on close, and then we say here is open, and then is open. Alright, here motion preset, that's going to be the slide in bottom, so that you can have it according to your needs. Say RBG, say blue. Alright, yeah, so far so good. So for the initial ref, what do we need to do? We need to go about here, and here we need to say constant. It's going to be initial ref is equal to react dot use, and we have use ref. Okay, so this is what we need. Now if we see here in the model, we need the model head, model body, basically that. So here I want to say first model overlay, so it says here. Alright, and here inside it we say can set percent few values, so it's going to be BG none, background filter auto, then we have background invert, and I want to say 80%. Then we want to have backdrop blur, so this one is going to be 2 pixel. Alright, now here I say inside it model and header. Alright, model header, and let's put some values here too. So here it is going to be color, and color is going to be dependent on theme. So theme if equals to light, then we want 233, otherwise actually for now let's set it to 323. And I say here here I say type keyword to search. Alright, that's going to be the header, and we only assign the now here we say model, and this is model body. Now here we need to set a few things, so it's BB. Part 6 here. Inside it, in the body, we want form, so I say form control. Now these all are the components of Chakra UI, so you can read more about it there. MT, margin top. Okay, so here margin top 4. Then we want to input inside it, so I call input, and input will be self-closing, so it's like that. Then we now placeholder, I will leave it empty, and here after placeholder they're going to be ref. That's going to be initial ref. Then we need color. Color is going to be based on theme, but for now I'm going to pause here 323. We'll change it if we require. Now on change, here I say on change, what we want a function. So we say here e, then we say a search, actually set search term. All right, and we pass here e dot target dot value, so whatever is the value we are passing in the input, it's going to be here. After input, control form, sorry, so here I put a break like this, so we have a break here, and then we can put the search results. Okay, now here for now use a state for it, for setting search. So here I simply go on above constant, and here I say search term, comma, set search term, which is here, and use state, which is going to be by default, and what I do, I'll pass empty. Alright, so by default it's going to be empty. Alright, we also can have another constant, and here search, and we can say result items, and then I say set search result items, and by default use state and empty array. Alright, so far so good. So what we need to do now is, if I scroll down, let's see what errors we are getting. We are getting React not defined, input not defined. I need to include the React. So here we say use state and use effect. Here we say React, and it's going to will be having comma. So now that error should be gone. And then we have input. Input is something we need to use. So it's going to be from React here. So I break it down, so we have, you can see, if I put a comma, we put here input. Alright, refresh, and yeah, we have no errors so far, but our model is not coming. So let's see, why is that? Okay, so we need to import model. So for that I'm going to include the model, and basically I'm going to copy paste all the required model. So here model, model body, put it here. Alright, so in our model we need to we have the model body here, and after that we need model footer. Alright, in model footer I want to use a button. Alright, in the button it's gonna have the on click event, and that is basically going to call the on close. So it's gonna be on close, and it's gonna be curly braces, so we can put here cancel, and here it's bottom. The same goes to the closing tag as well. Alright, so and now this all we have overlay this all from header to the footer. We need to have it wrapped inside model content and have it inside it till here. So the header, body, and content basically. So header, body, and footer. Okay. So now if we go here, so now for the model, if I scroll up here, we are saying use disclosure, it's a function, and then now it should be working. So here I click it, we get the model coming up, and that's what we need. Alright, brilliant. Now what we need to do here is we need to show the search results and stuff. So I already created the state for it, so search result, which is going to be set result item by default empty. So search term, set search term by it, initially it's going to be empty. So when we type anything inside the model, so input, and on change I'm passing this, so set search term will set this, so we can have the search term updated, and yeah. Now what we can do here is when the search term updates, we can look for it. So here what I want to do, I want to say when search term updates, fetch data, something like that. And what we can do is basically here I say use effect, and use effect going to have a function like this. Alright, here comma array search term, so we're looking for whenever this changes, updates. So what do we want to do? So we want to query just the way we did before. So here I'm gonna say constant get users input, and here I want to put a set timeout. Alright, set timeout, and timeout going to be 100 milliseconds. Then inside here we can say fetch search results, and here we have search term, and after this we will have then, and then we will have items, and then here what we can do, we can say set search result items, and we can say here item dot posts. Now here I want to also show you what exactly we're getting. So console dot log item dot posts. Alright, so we don't have the search function, so let's add it. So I'm gonna copy this and go here, and we say here get search results from database. Here we simply say constant fetch search results async, and here search term. Then what we want to do, we want to say here constant response is equal to await, and then fetch basically. Here we want to pass the URL where we are going to fetch it from. So we did the fetching in our main, so I just copy this and here paste this, actually like this. Okay, so this time what do we want to do? We want to have here search result. Alright, and then this is not going to be limit, it's going to be key word. that is going to be, and here inside this we want to say search term, and I'm going to remove this. So we're getting the search term, we are passing the search term here. Alright, that's what we need. And here, this time I want to pass more things. It's going to be method, which is going to be post. And I want to pass headers as well. So if you want to pass headers, you can pass like this. Cross origin and content type too. Alright, so we have this here. Now once this completes, we need to have the results here. We simply can say return await. It's going to be response.json. Alright, and that's it. It is going to assign the values, and we are going to, so once this runs, this is going to assign here search items, and we will be able to see that. Alright, so far so good here. I mentioned search term. Actually, we need to, okay, it should be this search term, so make sure T is capital everywhere. Search term, and yeah, then items, and then item.post, yeah. Alright, now let's handle this from the PHP side. So for the PHP side, if I go to routing, we need to see there should be a search result. So let's do this. So copy this and put a comma here, paste it again, and if I go back to app, we have here API search result. Select this, actually this. Pass a capital R here, and here in routing we pass it like that. Looks good. So this is another route, and we can have a get search results method, so we can add it. So we go to post controller, and this was getting paginated posts from database. Now here we want public function, and here I say getting search results from database. Alright, so far so good. So we need the search result this time. So I say try here, and then catch here as well. Pass the exception. What I want to do, I want to say $posts array. It's gonna be empty by default. Then we want to have $keyword. Now the keyword going to be $_get, the way we did it before. So if we go here, we are passing it. Okay, it's keyword, not. It's gonna be keyword. So here, where we were here. So that's or null. Alright, so if $keyword $SQL is equal to select ID title from posts where title like, and here we can say %, then we pass here $keyword % again, and I want only 5 results, limit 5. So whatever we get, only 5 results should return. And I say $response is equal to MySQLi query, pass here $this connection $SQL. All right. If now if we have response, dollar response, we want to loop through dollar row is equal to MySQLi, and then fetch a sock, and we pass here response. All right, and here we say dollar posts. All right, we pass here posts, and inside it each time we pass the dollar row. So each time post will go in there. And once it is done, we need to return. So here I say echo JSON encode dollar posts array JSON pretty print. All right, it should be good enough. So let's see what happens. So if I go here, all right, so item, let's go back here in the main.js. We are mentioning item here. So now why it says that? So we have get user timeout set up here. Then we are saying fetch result search term, then items, and then search. And here it's gonna be capital R. Yeah, capital R. Okay, so all right. Okay, so here when we run this, we want to also mark here. So we say return, and we clear the timeout as well. So clear timeout, and here get user input. All right. Now remove this. Okay, we're passing items here, so it's going to be items dot posts. And now if I refresh here, and here when we go to, let's see here, so we have here est there, so let's we search for est. So what happens? We're saying est here. Okay, we need to include header in the function. So I'm gonna create a generic function here. So what I do simply I say $this get headers, and this get headers basically what it is going to do is going to get all the headers those are required. So I'm gonna paste a code here for you. So simply get headers. Required headers. We can make changes according to our needs, but for now I'm just gonna put all allowed. So public function get headers, simple like that. And here inside it we put here header allow all origins, credentials true. We are setting cache for 1 day. We are if it is the request method is option, we are doing some extra stuff here. So if I refresh here, now I search for est again, est. Here I go here, response, you get posts, and we have few posts. So here it has est, and est it has here, you can see that these posts has est, so 5 results are coming. So this is the time we show the data. So here in the app.js we are getting here this data, so I can say here console.log items.post, so you can see it. So you can see we're getting 5 results. So I'm going to remove it. Now what I want to do, so we are basically setting here set results item. So if you go back here, you will see that search results item are here, and these are the items we need to show. So we just mentioned we could just gonna display those. So here I copy this, go down to the place and model. We have a break here, and after this break inside model body, I want to say if we have this search result items, and what do we want to do? We want to use the basically we want to use the unordered list, unordered list. So that's going to be from Chakra UI again. I'm going to close it. All right, in here, like this, inside it, we see search result items dot map, and then function will have item, and here we say return, and we want to use link here, so say link. Alright, so link, and this link is going to have 2, and the value for 2 is going to be slug, and inside slug we want to pass item.title. Alright, so here we also need to pass key, and for the key we just want to pass the item.id. So we are getting the item, if you remember we saw in the network, like we have ID and title, so we're just using that title and ID. Alright, now here I want to say inside it we want to add a list item, and also close this list item. Alright, and in list item, what do we want to do? We want to say again key equals ID, item.id, and here we will pass the title, so it's going to be the item.title. Alright, so far so good. Refresh. Let's see if I missed anything. Slug, so it's not seeing slug. We have a function, I think I created it here, so it's not here. I created it in a separate file, I think. It's here, so we can copy this and use it there too. So I'm just gonna put it here. Alright, no errors. EST, we have here our list. Click here and we go to that particular, you can see there. Now go to this, now go to this and go to this, so it's updating there. I click here, it goes away. Go to home, we have this here. Alright, so we have pagination and all working. Now let's go to single event component. We don't have it working. Alright, so we need to create a single component. So inside the blog components, I'm going to create another file. It's basically going to here. I'm gonna call it single post.jsx. Alright, so here what we want to do basically, we want to have a single post content showing up here. So in here in app.js I need to include it. So I say import single post. So we included it. Now we are defining the routes here. So we need to define a route here. So we need to say route, and then we say path. Path going to be, and if it is a slug, alright, so if it is slug, which element should be responsible, and that element is going to be the single element, so single post. Alright, and I need to close it, so it should work. So if I say here single post, now we go back. Alright, so now I go back to the app here. Now we go here, so if you click any of these, it goes to single, you know. So now these are going to be handled by that. So if I go here and search, and if I click here, you can see it goes to single post. Nice, so let's deal with the single post. Now in single post we need to, first what we need to do, we need to have few things set up before doing it. We are going to do the API call to our backend again, and we will use the ID this time. So here, what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna create a few constants, or say state. So here I say post data ID, and then here I say here set post data. Alright, now as we are using the state, we need to use state, and use state will have a default value. I'm going to pass empty object in this case. Then we want to have constant. Again, this time it's going to be post data, and I say set post data, actually current post, use state, I pass it as null. As we're using the use state, we need to import it. So import React, use effect, use state from React. Alright, now here we also want to use the use location. I'm going to put here, I have it written down, so also we will be using container and heading. Okay, I remove this, first thing first. Now I want to return the empty portion, so we don't want a div, we want to have straight content. Now inside it, what I want to do, I want to say post data if present, if it is not equals to null, and then we want to do something. And what we want to do, we want to use container, so it's a container, and again we used the containers before as well, if you remember initially. So here pixel is going to be the width for it, and then we have margin top, and it should be outside. Okay, so this goes new line. That was creating a bit confusion here. Now margin top going to be equals to 50 pixel. Okay, and then here inside it we can have heading. So we called heading in container, we are using it. Here we need to set CFU values. Size equals to large. Text align. Text align is going to be center. Then color, it's going to be gray. 700. Alright, now here inside this heading we want to display the post title. So here I simply say post data dot title. So we will make the title there. Then I will put a HR here. After HR I will put You can put anything, but if you want to, it's totally up to you. Actually, I have to move this for now. And here, after heading, I want image. Image will have source, and source going to be post data dot image. So remember, we need title and image. So we will be getting these values. So here width, we need to assign it a width. I say 300 pixel, and height, let's put 100 pixel for now. All right, now then I put a break tag, and then a char, and then let's add another break too, and then we simply put here a p tag, and here inside I put post data title, so the content, sorry. So that's what we're gonna show, and yeah, that's it. So we started this here. It's a container, and container didn't end it, so it should end there. Max w is equal to, and now we need to close container here. I forgot to add the end here, so it's going to be n. So if the post data is there, then do this stuff, otherwise not. And so far it's fine. And yeah, because post data is not there, it's not doing anything. So let's do this. So what we want to do here, we want to use the use state. So here, use state, and the use state will get us data. So here I want to check for location state. Location.state. So basically, when we come to this route, now we are using the location here, so we need to create one more state here. So constant, that's going to be location is equal to use location. Alright, so when we come to location, spellings should be correct, and location statement changes, it should fire. And here we say set post data, and we say location dot state, and then we say get data from backend. Now here we get data from API, so here I simply say fetch current post. Alright, and we pass here location dot state, and then we say then, and inside then we pass the item, just the usual stuff that we did already a lot of times, and simply set current post and pass here item. It will set the post for us. And what we want to do, we want to also if the state is not set, so we say set timeout, and here we say if location dot state equals to null. What do we want to do? We want to say window dot location dot href. Simply gonna refresh 404. All right. So this let's work on this fetch current post. We don't have this function currently, so I'm gonna add it here. And this is not use state, sorry, it is the use effect. And here we put here a constant. it's going to be a sync again, and we are passing this time ID, and then we get the post. So here constant response is equal to await fetch, and here in fetch we need to pass the URL. So we did it before. Let's go there where it is. Let's copy the URL, go in single, paste in here, and what do we want to do? Basically change it. So it's gonna be get current topic, and we are passing the ID, so it's gonna be ID, and that's what we want to pass here. All right, slow close current, and here it's gonna have the where it is, this too. Okay, and yeah, that should do it. Now we also want to pass headers, so here I want to pass method, which is going to be, actually the method is not going to be post because it's me passing the query string. I think I made this mistake as well somewhere else, so we will correct that. We basically need the headers here, so we pass the headers. And I just wanted to show you because you can pass the headers like this. Now, once we have the response, we can have return await and response.json, simply like that. Now once we get the response, it is gonna set it up, so that's all good. Now this is the route. This route is not present there, so let's create it. And before that, I want to check where I added that post. This is also gonna go, or you can change it to get. All right, so here where we are now, we need to go to this. Let's create this route. So we pass this in the routing, another route, and we need to define the controller and method. And here I say get current topic. So get current topic is the function we need to work on now. So let's go to post controller. Here we create another function, public function try. All right, now here inside it, we first of all call dollar this get headers, so whatever headers required. After that, we get current topic. All right, so current topic null. Then we have $ID, which is going to be $_get, and we are going to get the ID, and then null. And here we say if $ID, right? So we need the ID to work with this. So here we say $SQL is equal to select all from posts where ID equals, and simply pass the ID, $ID dot, okay, then here $response MySQLi query, we pass here $this connection $SQL. Here if we have $response, then we want to loop through, so we say here while and $row equals MySQLi fetch a sock, and we pass here $response. Alright, and here inside it $current topic, because it's going to be only one. So here current topic, it's going to be $pro. Alright, so we will get the current topic, and what we will do, we simply say here echo and then JSON underscore encode, and we will pass $current topic. Then we say JSON to display it pretty print, and that's it. It should do the trick. So I have the comment as well. Getting single post. Alright, so here, let's see, so okay, first let's go back to the app.js. Here what we are saying, search term, and we are doing it and clearing the. Alright, so now let's see, so here if I search, click here, we go and see the post there. It looks working just fine. Go back, go to any other post, it goes there. For styling, you can do anything, it's totally up to you. I search EST, I go to this CA, and it redirects me to 404. Okay, go back. Why is that? Let's see. So for the search, let's go back here. Okay, to create a new route actually. So if I go back here, if you remember in a single post I mentioned here to go to this route. So if this location set is empty, so we don't have this route to handle it. So here, let's go and create it. So we scroll down here, we copy this again, and this time it is going to be the /404, and I want to create a component for it. It's going to be not found component. It's going to be the same blog components, so create here not found .jsx, and here this component will be, it's going to be simple as well. So basically all we need is the port link here, and we say from React router DOM. So that's what we need. And here not found, we simply say like move this, and I put here h1. .404 not found, and here we will put a link to and here simply say go home link. Alright, so it should do the trick. We don't have this component imported, so let's import it. So import not found. Great. Now let's see. So if I go here, EST, I click here, it goes to this and goes, so go home, we go home. Now our search is still not working because of the link clicking on there, so let's see why is that. So if I go to the model, so model code is here, and we have alright, so if you notice in the where we have the single post, we are having a link where we are passing to, and then we are passing state. So if we see here in the search results, the link has to and key, but there is no state. So we need to pass a state here, and we need to set here item.id, and that's the reason when it goes to the single post, it check for the state. If state is null, it redirects to 404. So now if I go to home and search, we have here, so click here, so we QE, EST, ESC, whatever it is, so you can see that it's doing it. And yeah, so we're going to that particular post. We have our train working, and it stopped actually, so okay, so when we get a single, yeah, it's working. Yeah, so refresh was required. Now if we go to contact, we have contact, so all is set. So we have paginated, so each time we get 10 records, you can have as many as you like, so you can see that it's working as well. And our goal is not in